Hey everybody, it's John from the Gloucester Library, and for today's Let's Draw the sea turtle. Alright, let's get started. So I'm going to do my sea turtle facing sideways. I'm going to have the body here, the head here, front flippers, back flipper. There's only going to be one back flipper showing on this one. Alright, so let's start with the shell. Make sure you leave plenty of room for the head, so try to keep your shell in this space on this side. So I'm going to do a curved line for the shell on this side, and then it kind of comes down a little bit like this, and then curves around where the flipper is going to be, and then curves across and up, and then there's a few little ridges in it. This sea turtle, I believe, is a loggerhead sea turtle, and they have a little bit of ridges on their outer shell. Alright, now I'm going to draw the sea turtle's head. So I'm going to have that come out here. And we're drawing, it's almost like a rectangle shape, like a rounded rectangle shape for the head, and then the little neck coming in right there. And now I'm going to work on the details on the head. So I'm going to draw the eyes first, and the eye facing us here is kind of like a almond type shape, and it's slanted like that. Almost looks like he's grumpy, but he's not. And then I'm gonna color it in dark. I'm gonna leave a couple little spots like that not colored in, just to show where it's got the light hitting it. It's kind of shiny. I'm gonna do like some wrinkles here for the eyelid, and a couple below, and then I've got the other eye on the other side, and all you're going to see is the eyelid part of that one. So just a little bump coming out, maybe like a line for a wrinkle there. Now let's draw the nostrils. They're really close together on the front and about here in relation to the eyes. You can just do a couple little dots like that. And then for the mouth, it kind of starts right here, a little bit to the left of this eye, and comes across and up a little, and then back down a little. There we go. Now let's do the front flipper, the one that's facing us on this side. I'm going to have the neck come down and then curve out, down like that. And then you can either start from the top or the bottom, whichever way you want to go, but it's going to taper down, so be bigger up here and get thinner as you get towards the bottom. I think I'm going to start at the bottom here. Kind of comes up a little like that, a few little bumps. There we go. And then I'm going to draw the bottom of the turtle, the belly, and you can start from here and come across, or start from here and come across, whichever way is comfortable for you. I'm going to do from this side, and just do a little curve coming across there, and connecting with my front flipper. And then let's draw the other flipper that's on the side facing away from us. We can see that front flipper. And it's going to come out about here and curve down, and then come back up, just like that. There we go. And then I'm going to draw a rear flipper, the one facing us, and that's going to start right about here and come down, curve around, You can add a couple ridges in there for where there's the ridges in the bottom part of the flipper. And I'm not going to draw the flipper, the rear flipper on the other side, because it's actually hidden by the shell at the angle that it's at. So we're just going to see this one. Alright, now let's add in some of the scale type details, like on the shell and some of them on the flippers. You don't have to draw every single little scale. They have so many, so what you can do is kind of hint at some of them. Let me show you what I mean. So like on the back, there aren't as many, so if you wanted to try to draw them all, it's okay. So for that, I will draw all of the ones that I can see. So I'm drawing a line as there's a line of smaller ones around the edge, then bigger ones on this part of the side, and then slightly smaller ones that go through the middle. So I'm going to do the smaller ones here, just like little lines to separate them from this line. And then another line here, and another one there, there, and like that. Alright, and then the bigger ones, they'll extend pretty far up. So if you want to do just the lines from where the tops meet, you can do that. They kind of come across like that. And these little bumps are going to show where the lines come down that make up the scale there. So I'm going to draw the line for this one, and then the other side of it coming down here, and we'll see this one here and this one here, and this one kind of divides right there. Alright, and then we can't see much of the ones on top. You can see like one right here and like another one right here, and there'll be more that kind of are hidden behind at the angle that it's at. You won't see that go all the way down to the tail. We don't see the tail either because that's usually so small and hidden underneath the shell. Alright, so now let's do some of the little scaliness in the flippers. Now I'm not going to draw all the scales on the flippers. I'm just going to draw some and then just kind of hint at others. So let me show you what I mean. Starting with the back one. Let me draw like some of the scales that kind of look like where there'd be toes. Do like that. And now some of the rest of them I'm going to hint at. So I'm just going to draw like little lines to show that there are scales there. Little circle shapes, maybe like little M shapes and W shapes, U shapes, things like that. Just to show that there's some scales in there, but I'm not going to draw every single scale. Same with here. I'm going to do the ones kind of on the end, like these ones. And then the others I'm just going to hint at. So we just draw some little U shapes and squiggles just to show that there's more. Over here, the underside is a lighter color. So on the loggerhead turtle, it's more like a brown, orangey brown on the shell and on the scales that you see on top. But underneath, they're kind of a light yellow white color. So I'm just going to draw lines for a few of the scales we see on that area, but the rest of it I'm just going to maybe put like a couple little dashes to show that there are some scales, but not much. You don't see them very easily. And then also the tummy, same thing, it's going to be a light color, so if you want to put just a couple little lines and squiggles in there to show that there are some scales there, you can do that. And then on the head, there's kind of like one that goes above the nose there, and around and underneath the eye, and I'm just going to hint at some other ones here around on the head. I'm not going to draw all of them, just a few, just to show that they're there. There we go. And there's lots of little wrinkles, like in the neck and where the flippers come into the body. So I'll draw like some of those just real lightly. You don't have to draw a whole bunch of these if you don't want. They're just there just to kind of show where they meet the body. It's just how it looks on the turtle's body. There we go. Alright, so there's the line art for our turtle. Now if we want, we can go back in and add some color. So I'm going to do like a kind of orangey brown color for my turtle, since it's a loggerhead turtle. I'm going to go in here and just really quick add some color. Doing like really light here for the shell and the flippers, and a little bit on the face, and I'm going to go and push a little bit harder. So if you're working with like crayons or colored pencils, you can do the same type of thing. You know, the harder you push with them, the darker they color. So you can kind of color lightly in an area, and then go back in and push harder and color in darker for like the areas where like they meet up, where the lines meet up with the other scales in the shell. So you can show where there's light and shadow. A little bit more, and I might go back and blend it some. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to do a little bit of yellowish white for like the flippers and the belly, areas like that. You see how I did darker here, I pushed down harder, and then lighter here, so I did a lot lighter when I was pressing down there. Alright, there we go. And I'm going to go back in and smudge this. So if you're working with like paints, you can kind of go back in after you've laid down some colors like that and kind of blend them in. Like if you're working with oils, acrylics and things like that. But if you're working with colored pencils or crayons or something like that, you have to kind of color it in as you go. You can't blend really too much. You can blend some, but not a whole lot. You kind of have to do it in one step. But see, I can go in here and kind of blend them together. So things work a little bit different digitally. I'm not going to make sure everything's perfectly blended, but just enough that there's not a whole bunch of hard lines in my coloring. Alright, we're almost done. There we go. I like that. Alright, so there's our loggerhead sea turtle, and I might just add a little bit of blue for the ocean behind them, so it feels like they're really in the water. It's just a little. Just going to squiggle some here, do it darker in the bottom. go. And then kind of blend it some. Same thing like we did with the body. Just blending it in so you don't see a whole bunch of lines and circles where all the color was laid down there. Alright, there we go. So there's our sea turtle, a loggerhead sea turtle. I hope you enjoyed today's Let's Draw, and hope to see you next time.